Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Pour a cheerful toast and fill it, happy anniversary. But be careful you don't spill it, happy anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Welcome everybody to the 1 year special mini-sode anniversary episode that Sam and I decided to put out because also we had not done a mailbag episode in a long time. So congratulations to us, I guess. I'll cue in some music maybe afterwards in post-production. In post?
And I mean, I don't like to pat myself on the back or anything, but I think we pretty much slayed the competition in a year.
Yeah, and we're really proud of what we've done, and we're really thankful that all of you have joined us for this. It's really been an amazing run so far, and it's going to continue. Just wanted to explain a couple things. Number one, why on YouTube we have about 3 episodes, soon to be 4 or 5, backed up. It's because at the end of the last 2 weeks of February, I will not be able to record, so I wanted to have stuff in the can, which we often do, but I don't know that I'll be able to even sort of not police but monitor the YouTube channel as well as I normally would during that time. So if there's a lag at a certain time, I can't do it, then we're stuck. So I just wanted it ready, and it's all pre-programmed in. And so as a result, the Podbean stuff might be a little late in coming on the day that it comes out, the thing, but I'll get it in within 24 hours. I have that capacity. That's not a problem.
I would learn how to do this, but I just don't want to. I will. I will though. I will. I will force myself to do this to learn how to be a little bit more tech savvy. It's so easy because I have you.
Well, in a day where I'm sick, like it does take a lot of effort, guys. I'm not going to lie.
You're sick? There's a hurricane? You better get your ass here.
Fuck you, pay me. Fuck you, pay me. So at the end of the day, guys, we just wanted to put this out there just to say thank you so much. And this is a freebie, no live chat. We just put it out there like we normally do with these mini-sodes because they're shorter, first of all, and less work goes into them. So this is it's not something the shit we pulled out of the garage. It's actually something we wanted to do. So the last 4 days, 5 days, I guess, maybe longer now because it's the 4th now officially, and this will come out on the 9th. But on the 25th of last month, thethings.com pulled out another wiggy article called "Why Howard Stern is Actually Not in Caps Like Ellen DeGeneres," and it's one of the funniest articles.
What a title! Wow. I bet this person is also writing for the New York Times. I mean, probably now.
Well, yeah, probably. And Dylan Parker, if you go into if you just click on their name on thethings.com, everything they've got there is all about the truth. The real reason Jennifer Garner's Alias was canceled. The truth about the karaoke scene in HBO's The Leftovers. Why Larry David told Aaron Sorkin never to watch The West Wing. And so
what?
That's their angle, the truth,
So yeah, but it's so bizarre, this whole website. It's shill. It's all shill.
100%. And so we're going to go through it and read it, and we'll do is this large enough, Sam? Can you read it from this side?
I have it on my screen, so I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So you want to start it off?
Okay, guys, here we go. There just isn't enough evidence or credible sources to suggest that Howard has a reputation that's anywhere near Ellen's. Okay.
It doesn't completely.
I guess they weren't listening to our podcast because I think we provided plenty, Dylan Parker.
in a year. This is the again. This is must be like what do you think Stern and Bookwald pay to get this out there? $500 per article just to get it out there.
I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming it's probably a monthly stipend, seeing as how often it appears that him and Beth are in this. I don't know, this website.
So do you
I
think
think
they
the Blast and them are on a monthly nut of $5,000 a month.
That sounds a bit reasonable. And do you think it's like, here's the mandate, we want an article saying this. Can you do that? Sure, we'll write it. Boom, there it comes out. Poorly researched, poorly written, and in other words, about as much prep as went into the first year of Sirius.
I mean, it's worse than Cliff Notes. It's just terrible. I don't understand why that he keeps thinking that this will help. It actually makes it worse.
It reminds me of when Artie was going after Sal during that whole Sal Richard Artie argument. He goes, Sal thinks that, Sal feels this way because he thinks the listeners are as stupid as he is. He goes, they're not. You're the nut. They think you're as crazy as you. You're the idiot. So
this is
to him,
when OJ said he didn't, lop off two heads and then wrote a book called If I Did It to make himself, look more innocent. That's what this is.
Pretty much. And this is the other thing, the way they write that first, even that opening line, there just isn't enough evidence or credible sources. There isn't enough evidence or credible sources to suggest that Howard has a reputation that's anywhere near Ellen's. It implies that it is bad. Sentence. First of all, there isn't enough evidence, and there aren't enough credible sources. And then, that's anywhere near Ellen's. It still suggests that he's an asshole, just not as big an asshole. So it's not making him sound good.
Yeah, his asshole is nowhere near as gaping as Ellen's asshole.
Okay. So the next part.
Okay, me or you?
Yeah, you will just go swap like sentence, paragraph by paragraph. There are a couple of very good reasons why recent reports of Howard Stern being a terrible boss like Ellen DeGeneres are totally bogus. Continue.
In the reports, 3 ex-staffers are said to have complaints that include things like Howard is a diva and that he's cheap. But there's surprise. You know what? We should do like a preemptive, little sound play. Yeah, like he's cheap.
Like like when Law and Order does the dun dun.
Yeah.
But continue.
But there's enough evidence to suggest that these reports don't hold water as well as are specific to just what am I reading? Why am I having trouble with this? This isn't because I can't read, guys. This is because the sentence is fucking a word parade of nothing.
Yeah, this is like grade something. This is your grade 7 essay.
Let me read this straight. This is how this is. But there's enough evidence to suggest that these reports don't hold water as well as are specific to just a couple of individuals with not so stellar reputations themselves. Period. Wow. Yeah, that's the worst sentence I may have, ever read. But good job, Dylan.
So we're not going to proofread everything, but there's some glaring grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes. So this is what Howard paid. This is, I guess you get what you pay for. More importantly, Howard Stern has almost entirely avoided controversy behind the scenes.
You have?
This is because all of his opinions and eccentricities are done on the air for his millions of listeners. That's his entire show. Blunt and sometimes brutally honest. Even
I never said the N-word.
That's right. Even Howard's most famous celebrity feuds have been for his Sirius XM radio show. What the fuck are you talking about? Most of his feuds predated Sirius. And this is one of the many reasons it's absolutely ludicrous to compare him to someone like Ellen DeGeneres, who has her own set of scandals that were secretly happening behind the scenes.
Did Beth write this?
This is what I love about this. So even Howard's most celebrity, they highlight certain phrases so that they have a link. And so they linked that most famous celebrity feuds to a yet another things.com article. And it's one of the stupidest articles on the planet. Worse than this one, probably written by Dylan's alter ego.
Yeah,
And then
it's so great. It's like sources. So when you write an article, you should always have 3 sources. The source in the article is the website that it's coming from.
it's like when Sal used to say, "I heard that that David, what's the name? David Blaine, the magician.
Yeah.
He puts black people in the audience because he knows they're louder and they'll give him more of a pop when they react to things. And they go, 'Where'd you hear this?' He goes, I heard about it. Where?" He goes, "Well, you mean in Brooklyn?" Okay, so she has her own set of scandals. So this is not even. It's totally someone being paid to try to separate Wig from Ellen. And if he's going to be a friend with her and he's going to be on her good side, why would you make this article? Why would you force this article to come out to point out that exactly how bad she is? It's like when he said, "Oh, I knew Weinstein was doing stuff behind the scenes. I was just waiting for him to admit it in an interview." Really? You hung out with him and seen laughing with him, but you let this information go unknown and decided not to tell people about it because you're waiting for him to trip himself?
Right. Just like he did with Hilaria Baldwin. He said that his daughter ran into her in Spain. I'm not calling her Hilaria. That's not her. Ilaria. That's not her name. Hillary. When he ran into Hillary, the daughter ran into her in Spain. She said, "She's not Spanish." Mm-hmm. And he knew, and he sat on it. So you sat on that cultural appropriation, asshole.
Yep.
Okay. But so Ellen, you're right. He's making her look worse to save himself from, I don't know, somehow looking like the tyrant that he is. I'm guessing he's never going to be on the show again because that last appearance was, by the way, an abomination. That marriage by The Bachelor. Oh. So
we could just
she
take
doesn't
that one
need
apart.
them.
No, she doesn't. And since she has her own problems. And the other thing is, if he's put in a negative light, even in an article that's meant to be disparaging him, it's still painting her in a bad light because it's saying he's as bad as she is or worse. So her name's now going on, like, she doesn't want to be associated with him that much. She'll have him on, but it's not the same as, "Oh, we're both assholes." No one wants that.
No more Beth appearances, guys. I know this is very sad. We can't hear about the walrus story.
Yeah.
Seal story. Sorry.
So the last sentence there. So it's absolutely ludicrous to compare him to someone like Ellen DeGeneres, who has her own set of scandals that were secretly happening behind the scenes. That and the fact that dun dun dun, the reports aren't recent and are from the same 3 people. You want to continue from there?
There are 3 individuals named or referenced in all of the articles published in January 2021, and none of their struggles with Howard are news to Stern Show fans.
Incidentally, guys, while we were doing our latest breakdown, Fruit Part 1, I got a message from Richie Wilson, who was listening, and he said, because we mentioned in there, like, we thought that in that Scrooge article, the insider quoted might have been him because it kind of parroted some of the things he said in the past. And he said, no, it wasn't him. And I'll believe him if he says it, because all the Howard TV guys would have more or less the same beef, the same issue. So it could have been from anybody. And we don't know who it was that was actually talking to the reporter.
But these, Grillo, Stuttering John, the Scott Salem thing, for them to just say, well, these 3 people have complained. Why does their complaints their complaints don't matter? So they're not valid. Their experiences are what? Nothing.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, who cares if they've been saying the same thing for all these years? It's true.
That's kind of the point. They aren't recent, and they're from the same people. So this thing is the whole point of the article is going to say he's evolved before you get to the end of it, and this is from a long time ago, and he's changed and all that narrative, which we all know is bullshit. So you're going to continue with that big one?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Ultimately, the only staffers who badmouth Howard are those who no longer work with him, and most no longer work with him for very good reasons. Oh,
First of all, never start a sentence with "and." Never, never, never.
it's like because I hate
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it's awful. So most staffers, okay, who no longer worth it should be the only people who badmouth Howard, not the only staffers, because if you no longer work with him, then you're an ex-staffer, Dylan.
Dylan, let me tell you something. Dylan's probably fresh out of college, printing up shit like this, clickbait all day, every day. He's probably sweating bullets at some Mac in a, you know what I mean?
Mainlining.
He's like, fuck, I have
Frappuccino.
to get out this, I have to get out this article about Howard and all these other people who need their name in the press.
Right. You see all these fucking pumpkin latte stains on the goddamn computer. Let's see. What's the next part there? The beauty.
The beauty of the Howard Stern show is that almost every major interaction between Howard and his staffers happens live, or more commonly, is dissected live on the air. What?
Did Brent leaving happen on the air? No. Did Shuli leaving happen on the air? No.
Oh, but I do know who did leave on air. Scott. And how did that go? Scott
Exactly.
Einzinger. That went well. And we're going to continue those on-air nice goodbyes for the really
farewells.
nice man that's only half the asshole of Ellen. All right. Staff infighting is common at the Howard Stern show because it's part of the entertainment. This is how many of his I can't even say this. My nose, if I were Pinocchio, it would be like when it grew a fucking tree branch and a bird's nest off of it.
Yeah.
This is how many of his well-paid staffers have become celebrities. I'm never going to become a real boy.
And it links to another thethings.com thing. It says, here's how much Howard Stern pays his staffers. And after this weekend, many guys, you're going to laugh because of what we've got coming out Sunday. And one of the revelations involved is pretty amazing. Well, actually, I can say it. For years, for example, people have been saying that they get these insanely large salaries. Like Fred gets a couple million, Robin gets 10 million. Like, you think he's giving Robin $10 million?
Robin was like selling her house, her Jersey Shore house, for I think it was like millions less than what she paid for it.
Yes,
it was like a fraction.
Yeah, she took a hit totally. If you've already heard the Jackie interview, at one point he says, if I'm not mistaken, when he left, which was the end of 2000, he was making 3 times what Fred was making, and Jackie was making under 600,000. So that means Fred wasn't even clearing 200,000 a year in 2000. 2000.
Oh my God!
If that's all that Fred was making, what in the fuck do you think Bowie was making? Which we know it was less than 100,000 at that point.
I mean, that's just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. And I also, researching the topic for Bob Levy, came across a couple of Reddit posts, and it was talking about also Artie getting upset that Gary was getting paid more than him.
Sure.
And it was insane to me that this talent was getting paid less than that guy. Are you kidding me?
You mean, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm trying to work on that.
That's all right. I like that, actually. I prefer it that way.
I know, but I do it a lot.
But there's 2 parts to that. This is how many of his well-paid staffers have become celebrities.
Oh.
Celebrities? Okay. What's the next?
Okay. Do you think we're going to see Helen Richard walking the Golden Globes red carpet next year?
all I know is, Big Meals. What's that Sal's YouTube cooking show? Little Big Meals, Small Places, or something like that?
I don't care.
Anyway, I like that Sal's trying to do something different, but my God, he's still having to show his dick and have his dick made into a mold to put in Ronnie's ass.
I really appreciate that you and Raven give like the heads up because as soon as I heard ass, I was like, whoop. Fast forward.
Yeah, you need a scat PSA on these episodes coming up, guys. Are you going to continue with the
yeah, we're starting another sentence with and everyone. So looks like this guy has had virtual learning his whole life.
What are you telling me?
And the vast majority of these staffers have been with Howard for upwards of 20 years. ... They don't go anywhere.
I love that.
Where do you think you're going to hire, I don't know, JD? I mean, really, who's hiring them? Who's hiring these people?
They shouldn't be capitalized. And then it continues. They don't go anywhere. It's just like a line that Henry Fonda used in a roast about Lucy because she was a young actress under contract to RKO Studios. She was going nowhere.
Yeah.
You might want to rephrase that one, Parker, Dylan. So clearly.
Now we have a really great sentence for this one. It starts with the word so. So, comma, clearly things aren't that caps locks bad. Okay.
I think if you speak with vocal fry, this makes more sense. Like, so clearly things aren't that bad.
Yeah, this is totally unlike the high turnover rate on Ellen's show, like according to people.
This is totally unlike the
people. Why is people capitalized?
Is it now People Magazine? It should it should say.
Yeah, but if it was going to be People Magazine, you say People Magazine. If it's saying people with a capital letter people, that just what does that mean?
Is really important people? I don't know. Is there a group? Is there a musical group called People? Okay, so I'll read the next three because they're about the entirety of the same thing. Of course, Howard's. Of course.
Wait, no.
But the related part. Okay. Related. It says this is another highlight. Howard Stern defended BTS from racist attacks from his own staffer. This is a week after he got in trouble for saying ching chong about the Parasite movie. So they had to deflect it. I think we discovered this was when we did with Benjamin, the 2-episode Ching Chong Charlie Don't Surf. That was a while back.
Defense from racist attacks. Meanwhile, the first blind black mare, he had sailed to the step to the podiums.
Okay, the next part goes, of course, Howard's co-host Robin Quivers, producer Gary Delabate, and writer-producer Fred Norris, he's no longer a writer, guys, by the way, have all been with Howard for almost the entirety of his 40-year career. How many people stay at the same job for that long? Because they can't be employed anywhere else?
Munchausen syndrome? I don't know.
Yeah. The people who haven't are those who have rubbed Stern the wrong way. In other words, they got on his bad side like Ellen, left due to personal problems, or just got a better gig. Does that make Howard look? Okay.
Oh.
The prime example of the latter is Stuttering John Melendez, who was the only ex-employee who spoke directly to the press. Okay, so the next part, the problem with all of Stuttering John's claims, and I will point out, guys, that this only came out, a week ago, just over a week ago. All the videos listed as evidence are that whoever it was who had the channel scrubbed them from their channel. So I'd say it was a Stern hater that didn't want them get using their stuff for I suppose play for evidence, or they were worried that they're going to get nailed for copyright infringement. Either way, they're all gone.
I mean, this is so dumb. This is like saying having an article talking about 9/11 didn't happen.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
This is so stupid. And then Stuttering John Melendez is the only example who spoke to the press. No, Grillo has spoke to the press.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Jackie has spoke to the press. Artie has spoke to the press. I'm not really sure what they're talking about.
Yeah, and in the Jackie interview, we could have cited a lot more of his own interviews because we were not trying to get negative with Jackie. We wanted to direct things a certain way, but he had kind of tunnel vision once he got started. But there were interviews he gave as early as a few years ago when his book came out saying, look, I don't see any residuals. I don't see whatever. And he never, as far as I know, never signed anything with SiriusXM. So he had just as much of a gripe, if not more, with John to go after Howard for those things. Because one thing didn't apply to terrestrial. If it applied to terrestrial, one thing, but it doesn't apply to satellite. So he had a legitimate beef, I think.
Well, he's an angel and, only a semi-asshole.
That's right.
The problem with all of Stuttering John's claims, John was an intern, an on-air personality on the Howard Stern show from 1998 to 2004 when he was poached by Jay Leno. Oh my God.
This is still fucked up. And no, hold on. He wasn't poached. No, hold on. 1998 to 2004, 1988.
Oh yeah. Why? You're right. I didn't even realize that.
Of course.
Well, Dylan's very
he was
smart.
there. He was there 6 years. Okay.
So, and 1998. And so, poached. Yeah. John was hunted like a wildebeest. I mean, this is just crazy. Without notice.
Yeah, go ahead.
Without notice, John left Howard to be the announcer on the Tonight Show. Wrong.
Wrong. He did tell him. He just didn't tell him about it before the fucking deal was signed. And he was not poached by Jay Leno. He was poached by Tonight Show upper management, unbeknownst to Leno. And then they told him we're going to bring him in. And Leno goes, typical Leno. Okay, we'll fit him in. He's not going to go like full Letterman and say "fuck you" to the suits.
Right. And I could just picture John on that plane. Happy days are here to stay.
He'd probably be on the nose of the plane going, ah! beer in each hand. Continue with this event.
Oh my God, that imagery just killed me.
Screaming into as a pelican goes right up his nose. Okay, this event
poured gasoline on Howard's feud with Jay Leno. Really? And really ended his relationship with John, who was no longer welcome on the show.
because he left.
So jealous and so mad about that he has to let me translate this. This event poured gasoline on Howard's feud with Jay Leno. I really hated Jay and it's all my fault, but I'm going to blame it on John. John is no longer welcome on the show.
So this is
I ended my relationship with him. I'm a big fat baby who can't handle somebody getting a better life. Everyone has to live beneath my sneaker.
Let's be honest. That the real reason was because he was not allowed to scuttle that fucking job for John. That's why he was so pissed. And that John got better money and a better pay, better everything.
What job is Howard ever scuttling for anyone?
Well, Artie.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I mean, the idea that, okay, so they're trying to make him so he's not as much an asshole as Ellen, yet the sentence says John's no longer welcome on the show. That's how welcoming Howard is. It's making Howard look like an asshole here as well.
So also this shows if you want to get a better job, and move up in different entertainment jobs, Howard will not write you a letter of recommendation. So don't be loyal. Just leave because he will pretend you never existed.
Mm-hmm. This is the next one. This is where we get into the fucking real Perry Mason aspect of this. For this reason, John has been publicly sorry, I should say this correctly as it's spelled. John has been publicly bad-mouthing Howard for years.
Wait a minute. P-U-B-L, like biblically?
So he's been publicly bad-mouthing Howard for years. So none of this is new and probably only circulated again due to Howard's new contract announcement.
Does anybody know? Does this man know how ... works?
Yeah, you don't capitalize the next word. First of
Right.
all. Yeah, they've done that. He's done that twice already. I think it's all like it's not
Why
spelled.
does
There's no
it?
spell
It does
check.
bother me though.
Oh yeah. Watching any video of John Melendez ranting about Howard Stern proves just how desperate, bitter, and jealous the guy truly is. The guy. Like he's all buddy with him and he can say it like that. This sounds like notes given by the show to the writer. Say, we want these bullet points in there.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is personal sounding, and it's like this writer wouldn't be saying this unless they got, I don't know, it looks like they totally gave notes on what points they wanted to hit.
Look along the lines of the other thing is this very much sounds like Will Murray. This is Will Murray's essay to his master's thesis, the way he might write, because he's the head writer. The next part, while John
was on the Howard Stern show, he was constantly accused of taking advantage of the show and Howard's fame to promote himself elsewhere, not dissimilar to former co-host Jackie Martling. Oh, we got to throw that fucking dig in for no goddamn reason.
For no reason. It has nothing to do with it.
So we know how, basically, Howard, you write like an asshole, and Dylan, nice job trying to translate Howard's stupidity. This ultimately led John to abandon the show for Jay Leno.
Now, here's the thing.
This is so embarrassing.
Well, the thing is, first of all, they're not addressing the fact that the reason why they had to take advantage of the show was because they were being underpaid constantly and they were being overworked to not get. John had all this this notoriety, but how could he capitalize on it with it if he wasn't getting paid? He had to find supplementary streams of income.
And constantly being called out for doing that, trying to find those supplemental streams of income, constantly be saying, you're using my name, you're doing this, you're doing that, don't do that, don't put your name in my mouth.
Didn't have health insurance from the show. So,
I mean, what?
Okay, let's keep going. So the next one, I'll read the next two because the next one's a little small. On top of this, John had a reputation for crossing the line, especially with guests. After all, he was the one who belittled Ali Sheedy to her face about her eating disorder. This is what they asked him to do constantly.
Okay.
Go in, ask these stupid questions to people. We wrote them. That's your job. Go do it. So it's John that's doing it. Now they're throwing him under the bus. Go ahead.
100%. And Howard hated the fact that Fred and Jackie wrote the questions. So to belittle John constantly, he would say he did nothing. He read what was written in front of him. He did nothing. He did what we told him to do. He was funny because we gave him what he was supposed to say. So now it's, look at that asshole belittling Ali Sheedy. I think Ali Sheedy, after detention on Saturday, could handle it.
Yeah.
You get the bull. You get the horns. Mess with the bull, you get the horns.
That man is a brownie.
She's fine.
She's fine. Okay. Let's see. Over the years, the Howard Stern Show has evolved and steered away from really crossing the line. Hey, Wendy Williams, you cunt. A lot of this paralleled Howard's personal growth thanks to psychotherapy, meditation, and his charity work with his wife of over 20 years. This has angered some of his ex-employees who still want Howard to be as mean as he could be in the late 90s. None of the ex-employees, none of the fans want him to be as mean. They just want him to be fucking funny. That's what stopped. At charity work, we got to throw in Beth, psychotherapy, meditation. When's the last time you heard meditation on any of these breakdowns?
I'm pretty sure he's just like sleeping 15 hours a day. After I heard your last breakdown, I'm agreeing with Raven. There's just no way he's not just sleeping half the day away.
Yep. So,
by the way, this he wanted to evolve and stop crossing the line. How are Millie Bobby Brown's rosebud breasts that he was talking about? I'm not even joking.
What about the reading?
They're almost popping out. Yeah.
What's this Artie Lang's quotes?
Here's another nice headline from Dylan.
Yeah.
Artie Lang's quotes are old and outdated. Okay.
So that makes them not valid.
Don't argue with the genius, Fillmore.
This is the next paragraph is one of my favorites ever, but go ahead.
No, I want you to read it then.
Oh, no, well, you're going to read this one, right?
No, you read whichever one you want me to read.
Oh, well, you read this one, a similar feeling.
Okay. A similar feeling has been consistently expressed by Howard's former co-host, Artie Lang, the comedian who replaced Jackie Martling after he left due to contract disputes with the broadcaster. Jackie, by the way, is another bitter ex-staffer, although he has publicly expressed adoration for Howard.
Public alley again.
What?
Oh, God.
Wait, what?
What's the...
Why?
You're trying to... Go ahead.
Why are you sucker punching Jackie for no reason to then say, I didn't mean it?
Jackie wasn't even mentioned in the article they cite.
No.
And it was, okay, is another bitter ex-staffer. Okay, bitter is something that's a hatchet job. Someone's directing you to write this. There's no way that just comes out unless you're you're an ex-fan and this is an op-ed, or you're a current fan, and you're an op-ed piece that you're writing together. So
this is propaganda at its worst, at its absolute worst. Nobody is reading this article and thinking, wow, Dylan has some great insight.
Nobody.
Everyone is reading this as this wigged fraud rotting away in his mansion is pathetically pushing this fucking crap.
Yep. So this next one here, the same can't be said for Artie Lang, until recently, that is. And the next one, the real reason why Howard won't fire his staffer, Benji Bronk. That's
why? Why? Why is this a headline?
Because he works for muffins. Let's see. According to the New York Daily News, Artie left the show after a 2010 suicide attempt spurred on by his ongoing addiction to heroin. Isn't ongoing one word?
Yes, and there is no dash in between ongoing. And that was, again, there was no dash between in the last paragraph, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
And also here, until recently, capitalize the U. This guy, he's doing it on purpose for you. Until 2018, 2019, Artie was deep in the throes of his addiction. And I pointed this out. Why is throes THROWS?
He's pitching his addiction for the Yankees.
Batting practice with Coke, and wouldn't miss a chance at attacking his former boss publicly. But most of his criticism was regarding how Howard cut him out, as well as Howard being controlled by new producers at Sirius. But Artie's perspective changed as soon as he got clean in 2018. No, his perspective changed throughout the decade he was away, constantly. And in different interviews, he'd say he was the greatest, and then he'd talk shit about him. He was on Legion of Skanks, I think, and talked about how Fartman was a fucking big mistake and how Howard basically killed Dana Plato.
So true. But I mean, not to say that that's not sad, but I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Artie's perspective changed as soon as he got clean in 2018. I just think this is so amazing. Dylan wouldn't know this. Howard this is throw everything half-assed out the wall at the wall. He's just spiraling. Here, somebody said something mean about me. I'm going to clear this all up in one article. Boom.
Yep. Boom. This is like the Wall Street Journal. In A Dark Night of the Soul, Artie admitted that Howard was one of the only people who gave him the benefit of the doubt, even when he was at his worst. No, he didn't give you the benefit of the doubt. He knew you were on fucking drugs and didn't care. That's the whole point. And there's no benefit of the doubt. He said, he was, drinking too much high C, sugar crashes, whatever. And he was being told by other staffers, you have to do something, and completely ignored it.
That's a benefit.
Yeah. Artie would often miss work, disappearing for days on drug binges. Untrue.
This is the benefit.
Yeah, I mean, there were actually days he was out, but you didn't know he was on drug binges. According to Howard, he didn't know. So, this is after the fact. Okay. Or even fall asleep on air, which they fucking made which made content for them.
Yeah, fall asleep on air. Hello,
They
Barca
encouraged it.
Lounger, come
They,
lay down.
yeah, exactly.
Enjoy.
They encouraged it. A fireable offense in any other profession. His colleagues wanted him off the Stern show, but Howard fought to keep him and give him the structure and support.
Okay, no. That is such a farce. A fireable offense. Yes. So fire him and make him grow up and get his shit together. That's what you should have did, but you worried about yourself and your show. You didn't give a fuck about Artie. You brought out the fucking Barca Lounger. You let him sleep on air. You let him sleep on a couch. You let him fall asleep in a chair.
Attack other staffers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's structure, Fillmore.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It enabled Artie. Now that is something I don't know why they would put that in there, because that also makes him look like Stern, look like shit. Like in the middle of all this, it's now going, no, but you made it worse. You made it worse. You can't have it both ways.
I don't know if Howard realizes they said that. Maybe Dylan just thought, I'm going to add a little color here because I'm realizing I'm going to, yeah. I have all these notes and now I need to add a little of my own.
Yeah.
Oh, but this seems like enabling. So I'm going to write, but it didn't work. It enabled him.
Yep. The comedian's attempt on his life pushed Howard to distance the show from Artie, although Howard did his best to reach out to him privately, according to Artie. No, he didn't actually. It ended up being Tim Sabean who told him he was fired.
Yeah, and then we've never heard from Artie and Howard.
And the only and Raven and I talked about it. The only time they saw each other was in the hospital when they were each visiting Robin separately, and they happened to be there at the same time. And they were spent an hour in the room doing bits and stuff, trying to make her laugh, which really isn't that hard. Just show her some ice cream, and but they had he had said repeatedly he'd called and called and called, and Howard never answered. So that's bullshit. You want to read the Scott stuff?
Mm-hmm. What about the Scott Salem stuff? The nastiest accusations are to do with Howard tossing aside his longtime sound engineer and not helping him out financially when his wife got sick with cancer. Cancer is not a proper noun, but but they capitalized that anyways. Good job, Dylan. In complete contrast to the old quotes that the New York Post pulled, Artie Lange actually came to his former boss's defense on the matter. Artie claimed Howard was the single most generous person he's ever known, and that there was clearly a missing element to the story of Scott Salem. I don't ever remember Artie saying that.
I don't either. According to this, the link is Twitter. Okay, it's an old Artie tweet from, but this is from April 2018.
He doesn't know his side of this, so no. So they're misinforming. In the article, they're saying, I'm not sure if this is true. Here's how I feel about Howard. It might be true. You know what I mean? They're saying, I don't know his side of this.
Mm-hmm.
Which
that's not defending him.
No, that's saying if you want to defend yourself and say I helped, by all means, Howard, say you helped.
Yeah, and the missing element in the story of Scott Salem was called compassion, of which there was none. And I will say, we know it's a show, guys. We know it was always a show, but there were real people involved. That's the whole point. So when Gary's father passes away and Beth doesn't go because she, tripped and has this designer booty and is at the fucking polo match the next day or the day of, and Howard decides I'm not going, and then people get upset. Why do you think they would get upset if these weren't real people and people didn't care about the people behind the show and in the show?
I think her boot was full of shit. I think she lied about that. I think she went to, whatever hospital that celebrities have to go to get something like a booty and just put it on for a week and then it was gone.
Why does person have an apostrophe? Howard's no, sorry. That's not an apostrophe. That's the quote, but even it's not a quotation mark. That's the other problem. Ultimately we don't know the precise details of the Scott Salem story, nor the real reason why Scott was secretly let go from the Stern show. Well, yeah, we do now. It's not anybody going on Reddit can find it. However, we do not know that there just isn't enough evidence or credible sources to suggest that Howard has a reputation that's anywhere near Ellen's now tarnished image, especially given the fact that Stern's staffers had mostly been incredibly loyal to him for decades. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Whatever you guys want to say.
This is like arguing for. Look at this terrorist didn't nearly behead as many soldiers as this terrorist. How many years do you want to send him into Guantanamo?
I was going to say
ludicrous.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? The Zodiac Killer was much better than not nearly as bad as, Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to argue serial killers, the merits of one serial killer versus another. Well, okay, guys, that's one of the latest articles, and now we're going to go through some of the comments on our list of shows on YouTube and Podbean and what have you, and they go back quite a ways, but we haven't done a mailbag for a long, long time. So, Sam, have you got any that you have just offhand?
Yes. So somebody said they're called I Am No One Asus Ral. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Apologize. But it's for the recent Bro episode. And they said after hundreds of hours of listening to Howard Stern uploads from random YouTubers, the algorithm has finally brought me to you. I must be worthy now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because algorithms obviously are a thing. And most people who listen to old Stern Show clips somehow find and fall on ours. And when they do, it's like this. Either it's a gift that they're so happy they found, or it's this eye opener where they're like, I'm never going to look at this the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we're looking for, basically. When we get new fans, we're hoping that's one of the things that hope happens as a result of listening. Keith B wrote in about our farewell, So Long Farewell, which was episode 52. This is fantastic. Another theme that this kind of reminds me of is how everyone got friends, things, jobs, etc. because of him. My only solace when it comes to Howard is knowing, that he's miserable every waking moment and has no true friends or relationships, including his robot horse-faced beard. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much,
Yeah.
Keith.
You guys did a great job in the breakdown episode with Raven discussing the emptiness that is his life. And he really does have zero relationships with anyone right now. And he's perfectly happy sitting in his house, just, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this next one is from David Martignetti. I don't know.
Come on,
like
Levy. Strimp. Lisa Lampignelli.
Yeah. All right, David. And fuck your last name. All right. I love you. Thank you for being a fan.
143.
Okay, so this is the bro fight. I still believe Artie started souring after he learned how much more money Gary was making than him. Artie had to work stand-up every single weekend to make as much as Gary, and he really resented it. I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm. I think I would too. This one is from the same episode I just mentioned, from Dr. Thug's Table. Dr. Thugstable. That's great. It just occurred to me what that means. He asked very simply, would you guys do the Stern Show or wrap-up show if asked? Well, I think I would. I'm sure Sam would, just to fucking piss all over their own grounds. But we're not going to be asked. I'm certain. So, go ahead. Got another one?
Okay, so for the 15 Foundation
Mm-hmm.
saga, the everlasting saga, Robin was doing. This is from Deep Wubbins.
Mm-hmm.
Robin was doing daily health tweets like Dr. Drew, and Howard called her out on it, and they stopped. It looked like she was trying to set up a health book or a health show. That's so true. I remember that, Dave Wubbins, because they were all over the board. Do you know when, if you're a doctor, you can be all over the board because you have an experience with something. But, for the most part, Dr. Drew dealt with mental health. Robin was just spouting out, you know, it was so weird. She was just tweeting out random articles like kids on ADHD medication,
Yeah.
adoption.
Yeah.
It was just like crazy. Like, what are you doing? It was a carousel of medical problems that Robin somehow had solutions for in her tweets.
Yeah, absolutely. We did I think we're up to number 4 in the 15 Foundation Saga episodes. And this one is from Wild Canaries. I'm glad Samantha mentioned this at 1:27:45 because there are really a lot of unbelievable people who work at shelters, some of the best humans I've met in my lifetime that actually do give a shit and work extremely hard. They donate their extra time on top of cleaning shit out of kennels, trying to train dogs, something Beth couldn't figure out to save her life, and doing real networking with other local rescues and have had success clearing space and adopting dogs out. I'm sorry for the rant, but it kind of makes you mad that this fraud is getting a fucking award like she's at the Golden Globes given by Wiggy of all people. Fillmore, you put it perfect when you said, and they're giving it to this fuck. Yeah. Charity
Actually,
stuff
you
is
said
a real
and they're giving it to this fug.
Fuck.
I'd like to correct you because but I remember how you said it. You said, and they're giving it to this fug.
Oh, did I? Okay. Then
You
I would have been
did.
talking about Beth. Yeah. Okay.
And I remember it because I laughed. It was wonderful.
I'm not above profanity, guys. Go ahead.
No, but she is a fug.
Yeah, she is.
So Skeeter Thompson said in regards to the goodbye episode with Scott Einziger, Skeeter Thompson said, I think one of the main reasons he does this is because he hates to have to lift a finger, meaning that he now has to find a replacement. Things may be different. Lower level minions move up a slot in the pecking order. Based on your guys' show alone, never mind a long-time listener's perspective like myself, we know Howard is notoriously lazy at his core. So this being a change in his life that he has to deal with makes him angry like a cranky baby. So he lashes out. And I 100% agree with you. Howard doesn't want to, he wants to pay talented people as little as possible, and when he has to make up for the work, he's not going to hire somebody to actually do what that person did. He's just going to move up people and pay them less.
Right.
With
Ronnie,
no skill.
Ronnie, can you cook? So we got a lot of great response from the 50th episode, which was the Richie Wilson interview, and that's I don't know if it's our most watched because we have the earliest ones still get downloaded like crazy, but on YouTube it might be that one. Keith Murphy said, "How does this have only 217 likes? There are almost more comments than likes. This is the first QF that I've heard, and it's great. Thanks, guys." Well, thank you, Keith. Richie was great. I think universally we got praised for that up and down Reddit and Twitter, and it was and I think rightfully so. I think we did a very good job, and Richie was great. He didn't hold anything back aside from the one picture he wouldn't show us, but we don't blame him because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be outed for getting this picture, which I suppose isn't supposed to be circulated. Like, no one's supposed to have these. And if it was something that was already out there, which we showed him one from Entertainment Weekly, which is apparently is similar from 2006, but one day that we may get to see it ourselves.
I think Richie was super open and honest. He also, Fillmore and I, just being the fans that we are, really prepared our questions and wanted to make sure we hit different angles that I don't think we've heard from Richie before in other things that he's done. He's come along in the show at such critical times too that I think are so fascinating. So I was so happy that he came on and did this with us. I loved it. It was a great show. And I don't have any more mailbag quotes, so you can keep going if you want.
Okay, I've got a few more. From Natalie Pinaro Stack, who I love. I have to read at least one of hers every time we do one of these.
She is amazing. She's amazing. I laugh my ass off when I read these.
So this was on the Bro Fight finale, which was, I think, the longest of the 3 episodes, but it was actually better than I thought it would be. Bravo, that was great. I was laughing so hard at the lines in succession. When Wiggy said he had not seen Dr. Lou, his supposed BFF in 20 freaking years, I laughed exactly what Sam did. Or when Bob D... Or when
Dr. Lou, he's my bro. I haven't seen him in, you expect saying a few months, 20 years. He might as well be the old lady at the end of Titanic.
Right.
clutching the thing, clutching the necklace, being like, I haven't thought about this. And
Well, when Bob D said about Lou writing him a letter tied it to a quail's leg, or Fillmore, he was sending smoke signals in the Hamptons. Oh my God, LMAO. Also, only 4 years before when John left, sent Wiggy a message to call me, bro, about the Leno job. Wig said, bro, I don't even want to know I don't even want to know. Sorry, I don't know what that is. How stupid. Something to that effect. So he is so full of crap in that, in a word he has been using since the 60s. He probably watched a show about it. You're right. He really has no human in him, that he mimics human behaviors like a cyborg or alien. This fight really makes me angry. I was just saying to myself as Blobbin was screeching and Wiggy was spinning, God, I hate them. Howard has no friends, and he mentioned Beth has no female friends either. Does he ever think that says something about himself? You guys crushed the finale. Love you, QF fam. XOXO. Well, we love you too, Natalie, of course. Let's try a few more. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the bro fight got a lot. Even though that was the last of it and the best of it was early on, people still had a lot of nice things to say about it. Okay. Lou Who's. They were talking about the Jennifer Aniston rescinding episode, which we're doing another one of those soon, guys, but it'll have to wait for a bit. This is the comment. I will admit my initial surprise at the bitterness directed at the Howard Stern show, having been a listener for years before it became nothing for a showcase for fans of nonstop man-on-man action. Then I started... Then I started listening to QF, and wow, you guys, no offense, love to you too, Sam, are spot on. I thank you for opening my eyes so I don't inadvertently get mistaken for a douche by association. RBG, manners creep. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that...
Peter Ginsburg?
I guess so.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people... okay. The Fruit, the latest episode, Fisty Ann says, thank you so much for remembering Stuttering John's pronunciation of Nicolas Cage. Still cracks me up.
Oh my gosh. That is so fun. It's a classic. It will never not be funny.
Both Raven and Sam get copious amounts of praise for their quotes, which, by the way, are not written down, guys. Everything's on the fly when we do record them. Jeremy Ramone said in the same episode, I am not a degenerate, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a stenographer. Raven, hilarious quote. Such an excellent episode. Thanks so much. Please never stop doing these. Cheers from San Diego.
I agree with him. Raven, when she said that, I thought it was so funny. I'm just a report. I'm just a stenographer. I don't. It was such a good defense.
The one here, okay, Spitting Venom is a guy who actually has had a couple of negative things to say, but we let him on because he's not being overtly, I let him go because he actually made the same complaint twice, and I told him the same time twice, our voices are not going to fucking change because we don't have Howard money to affect our voice. So I told him, suck it up, Buttercup, or move the fuck on. So
what does he want me to sound like?
Well, he said me and Bob put him to sleep, and he talked about, I don't know, your Valley speak, I suppose, but I said that we don't, there's nothing we can do, so get with it or get the fuck out. QF Fruit episode. Hey Buttercup, good job. Show was a good one. Would love it if you guys deconstructed Ralph, especially the fact that he blatantly stole money from that card game and Howard still kept him as a close friend. When the fuck would Howie ever do that? Speaks volumes of their friendship. Well, yeah.
You know what, Spitting Venom? I do have to agree with him. I want to go over that episode, that card saga. With the card game and Ralph and stealing money and then the leaving it at the table. There was a couple instances where he stole money in this kind of saga. I have to agree with him. I think we should go over that.
Well, let's do it sometime. This last one, I think, and this is from Tommy, Can You Hear Me? From way back when. A girl gives a man his own name is the poster. I was starting to get a little bummed out when Sam couldn't remember the name of the actor that she thought looked like Beth. When they finally figured out it was Ron Perlman, I was in tearful laughter for the next 2 minutes straight. I never put the two together, but it's absolutely true. And I'll read one last one by Shelley Lannon, who commented on It's All About Him, Ed, NPD 4, Part 2. That was episode 34. She said, I love part 1 and 2 of these. These are my faves. I love Sam dissecting Beefus, then Bob dissecting and Fix dissecting with hilarious one-liners. Anything Beefus is just great. Her ability to humiliate herself without knowing just amazes me. How Wigward traded a Lamborghini in for a Pinto just stuns me. Beauty fades, and I'm sure Beavis and Wig are sitting in hell together now. I hope Allison, and then it just cuts off, actually, because I'm not sure why, actually. Hold on, let me see. I hope Allison is sitting on a beach drinking a martini somewhere. Good always prevails in the end. Yep, I agree.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, guys, coming up for the next little while, you're going to hear, obviously by now you will have heard the Jackie interview. Coming up after that, just to give you the order, is part 2 of the breakdown for January called Ghosted, including some great Photoshop art by Matthew Schultz, who did a wonderful job and is doing great work on our Facebook page with his Blu-ray renditions. And the coming up after that, it was tough to do, but it's going to be 3 parts ultimately, but each episode's about 2 hours, so it's not too unpalatable. We have our breakdown of a live 2/13/86 show at the Ritz that Howard, Fred, Robin were there for, doing stand-up comedy from the time they were between jobs from WNBC and K-Rock. And Dennis DeMarco gets full praise for that because he came forward and said, look, I have this. Do you guys want this? And boom. And it was hysterically bad. And we hope you guys, when you do hear it, don't cancel your subscriptions.
It is. I mean, I don't know how he survived in a career after this. It's just amazing. But yeah. Dennis deserves full praise. And I think it will be fun and more palatable once, the edits are made and the 2-hour break, 2 hours at a time. That's digestible.
Yeah. I toyed with putting it all together, but literally that said, no one is sitting through 6 hours of us seeing how bad it is. So it was much more. And I also cut out some of the audience noise in between because there's so much silence in between each non-joke. But that left enough in so you guys get the point. And I think I wrote that in the description as well. In the meantime, those of you who would love to be patrons, check out our Patreon link. And whatever you can donate would be fantastic towards the show. If it's $1, it doesn't matter. If it's $10, if it's $100, we love it all, and we appreciate it.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Can I taste your juice? And it all goes towards better sound equipment. I got a new microphone on the way, and I'm going to be hooking up Sam and Raven with audio interfaces, so they sound even more bitchin' than ever. And that's that. And we hope you guys enjoy all the shows we got coming in. I'll still be on Facebook every now and then during the last 2 weeks of February, but I'm going to be very, very busy. So wish me good thoughts for that time, guys.
Thanks, everyone. We love you.
Take care, guys. Stay safe and pray for some warm weather too. Don't get snowed in. We love you.
What are you fucking kidding me? Do you know where I live?
Maybe somebody ate the groundhog. Okay,
I live in Buffalo. Bye.
Take care, guys.